until the last time that he did beat me up and I was almost paralyzed. That was when I decided that I need to go.
Susan Emma, the ex-wife of the famous actor Emeka Ike, has come out to speak for the very first time about her experiences in her marriage to Emeka Ike for the very first time in an exclusive interview, and she has made a lot of shocking revelations. We saw that Emeka Ike in the previous video, Emeka Ike had come out to make some heavy allegations that she has withheld his children and prevented them from seeing him, and that she has crippled his business, that she is also, she also attacked his career, He said a lot of things. He insinuated that people are even after his life. But listening to this woman, you'll find out that sometimes it's good to listen to both parties. It's not always advisable to just listen to one part and draw conclusions. Her experiences in the marriage is not something anybody would want to wish on anybody, but as I said, it's good we listen to both sides of the story. He claimed in the interview he granted that the ex-wife, Susan Emma, sold off his properties. And I begin to wonder, why would a woman do that? How is that even possible? The buyer of those properties, didn't the buyer know that the owner of the property was Emeka Ike? The document, didn't it carry his name? How can somebody be buying a property with another name and maybe making payment into another account? It's not possible. And even if she did that, I'm just wondering why he didn't take her to court, why he didn't take her to the police station, why didn't he sue her to court and, fight back for his properties? This woman has mentioned that the school he has been talking about is not true, that they even rented the property. How do you spend 450 million naira on a property that does not even belong to you? A lot of allegations that you'll be wondering, are this even true? Can this really be happening? One man, they're after your life. She prevented you from seeing your children. She did this, she did that. At the end, it's still good to listen to both sides. Let's listen to her own side of the story and drop our opinion in the comment section. Please do not forget to like and
It started
follow.
off as verbal. It started off as mental, started off as psychological, started off as financial, financial abuse because I was not allowed to work. You understand?
He didn't allow you to work?
He didn't allow me to work. Actually, I wanted to be an actress. That's why I became his friend. I was modeling at that time. I just come out of secondary school. I was 18. And then I met him along the line, and I wanted to be, someone who would put me into the industry and all that. And he categorically told me that I wouldn't act because it would destroy our relationship. Because at that time we had gotten into a relationship, And he said he was planning to marry me, and he did say that he even stopped my modeling career. In fact, I had been approached by an agency to be sponsored for Miss Nigeria at that time. This was 1999. He also refused. He said he couldn't handle me crying if I don't win, things like that. And I had to go back to the agency to say my family didn't want me to do it. And then I went to my family and said the agency dropped me just because I didn't know what to say to them, because he was saying, no, that I won't do it.
You met him when you were 18?
Yes.
You got married when you were 19?
No, we didn't get married till I was, I think, 23, going on 24. Right. I was already pregnant with our second child when we got married. In fact, I had to be the one to speak out, like, you need to do something because this is our second child. So I was already heavy, and I regret it.
Why?
Yeah, because even during the wedding, he came late from the state he was shooting at that time. They never blessed us. It was his older sister's husband who has stood in, and the wine changing and blessings and all that was done. All through, when we had collected the list from my uncle and given to him, and we were preparing on our side, and I was always calling him, oh, are you, in tune with your family on the list to get everything? His family came empty-handed. They didn't bring anything. Even in family would always laugh at me at my back and say I married myself.
Wow.
It was always a case of, oh, she wants to marry a star and she has to work for it. And I did. I slaved for that family. Everything that they wanted to do, I was a designated driver. Everything that they wanted to do, I was the one who was always doing things for them. I was doing it on my side because of love, because this was my family. As long as, you are my friend or you are my husband's people, you are my family.
So the question is, somebody would wonder about is, why did you go ahead with the wedding despite all that disrespect? Him waiting for about 5 years into the relationship, his family not paying the bride price, him coming late. Obviously there were signs. Why did you go ahead?
I didn't see the signs as signs. You understand? I didn't start, in hindsight, I wouldn't even date him. You understand? But then at that time, he was my first everything, first boyfriend. I just came out of secondary school. I just came out of not knowing, anything. I think it was when I got to be 24 that I started understanding that this is not right. This is not how I should be treated. I now started seeing that, I wouldn't accept some things, that kind of thing. And that's why I said I regretted, even doing that. Yeah. And it was until I was 28, 29, going into my 30s, I started fighting back.
Right.
And then it's now escalated from, verbal and all that, and then it became physical. Right. You understand? And then still, even with that, people would say, oh, it's a man's world, and I didn't think of myself, but until the last time that he did beat me up and I was almost paralyzed, that was when I decided that I need to go. But still, I stayed 2 more years after that, but...
He beat you until you were almost paralyzed?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. We had gone out with the kids and we came back, and I was changing my daughter, and he saw, her nappy rash, and it was a bad nappy rash, and he was all over the place, angry and all that she'd been molested. And I said, how? This is nappy rash. And he was going on and shouting, who did I give his daughter to, this and that, and they need to check her and everything. And I tried to calm him down that this is nappy rash. I use Vaseline instead of powder. That's why it's so red, that kind of thing. And he was going on, and I was like, okay. And at that point, I was getting upset, like, you can't be doing this. And then I was like, okay, give me money, let me take her to the hospital and let's get her checked. And then he hit me, And at that point, I had you can't keep beating me up, and I held his hand. And so he just turned me over and hit me, and then he hit me at the back of my neck here, and that was it. I lost sensation to all my body parts. I went down on the floor. I couldn't feel my arms. I couldn't feel anything, and he kept hitting me. He kept hitting me, and I was shouting, feel anything. I was only seeing the stars. So when he hits me, it goes poof, that kind of thing. And that was only what I was seeing. I could talk, I could hear, I could see, but I couldn't feel. This was in front of our kids. This was in front of his PA at that time, Debola. And I was, trying to move my body. My body wasn't moving, So when he realized himself, he got up, he walked out of the house. And I was there for like 10, 15, 20 minutes, I don't know. I was still trying to move my body. And then I felt this sensation all over, like a million pins, poking me, pricking me and everything. And I think the nerves were beginning to connect or something, And then I got up. And that was when I saw the boy, Debola, peeping from the door. I guess he had told the boy to come and check. I spoke the boy's name. I said, Debola, and the boy ran out. I think he didn't want to come close so that they don't say he's the one that knew or something. And then I heard his car drive off. And I picked my children and I ran to a friend's house. He's denying it, but there are people that I run to their houses every time he beats me up. People that I run to their houses in the middle of the night. People that I run to their houses and I collapse. All this happened, and they are living witnesses. I have pictures. I presented those pictures during the divorce. I still have those pictures, but I'll only give my evidences in court.
Right. So wow. For the kids' well-being, you have him have custody of the children,
Yes, yes.
and the court determined that and said you could
Yes,
have access.
yes. And my lawyers had advised that it is a high court, because this was customary court, because we were only married traditionally. It was only that traditional marriage that we had. We never did the formal one of going to the registry, because he always has one woman out there who wants to give him American papers, or who wants to give him this paper and that paper. But I never consented to it, because I would always say, you go there and you marry these women for papers in front of God and the minister. You're not saying this is fake, this is for paper.
So he keeps the children away from you as some kind of punishment after the divorce.
Yes.
And then tells them that you have abandoned them.
Yes, yes. When I reconciled with them, I didn't want to come out and say, oh, I'm here to get you, I'm your mom and this and that. I have custody of you, because I was awarded sole custody of the children. Well, I had to build my relationship back with them and let them, know me again. My daughter didn't recognize me. She thought the other lady was her mom, because she was 2 when she was taken away from me. When I had left with my 2 younger kids, because I felt they still needed me.
You said this marriage was abusive almost from the get-go. So you mentioned it was financial abuse, it was verbal abuse, it was emotional abuse.
Yes.
What do you mean by verbal and emotional abuse?
Insults, putting you down every time.
So you had a terrible temper.
Yes. When I got out and I was in a friend's car, I didn't know I used to sit like this. And that was because of the lashing. I jumped out of a moving vehicle before. I've attempted to 3 times.
Because of your husband?
Yes. He's not saying all these things. The pastors, the church will send pastors to our house. And he's out there, I'm in the bathroom, I want to sleep. He will describe you like you are not worth anything.
And when did the physical violence start?
That started, like I said, when I started fighting back. Because, and I think he did feel that I was growing wings and I needed to be, clamped down. So that was when it started. There was a time we went to the hospital, my child was sick, and we didn't have money, and I was trying to negotiate with the hospital if we could, treat the child and we'll pay later. And it was taking a little bit of time, and he just came in and was yelling at me, you're a fool, you don't know how to do things. What, all these people, you can't even talk to them. Who are they? They are beneath you, and you're allowing them to do this and do that. And I got upset. I was like, why are you being, and excuse my language. And I went off into the car to sit down, and immediately he was coming into the car. His punch was the first thing that I was seeing on my jaw. Right in front of people in the car park, so things like that. You dare not speak back. You dare not look him in the eye and talk when he's at it. It was always, you have to do this, you have to do that. I made you. You made me. I was 18. I was pregnant with 2 of your kids when I got into the university. Yeah, I'm grateful for that, you understand, but that didn't mean that I have to be under you. I needed to be somebody of my own. I needed to have my own path in life. But he wouldn't accept anything. He wouldn't accept anything. The house, he said, he's claiming that he built for my mom. He didn't build her any house. My mom's house was built in the 70s. How old was he in the 70s? She was renovating, and she was doing the back, And as a son-in-law, yes, he did give her a gift, you understand, which we're grateful for, you understand, but he never built a house for her. He keeps blowing things out of proportion, you understand. And then the school he's claiming about, I mean, we didn't spend that much money.
So you spent 450 million naira went down the drain.
That's the new amount now. It used to be 100 million. Now it's 480 million. The school didn't cost us that much. We were still owing the owner of the house. We had leased the building for 10 years because it wasn't really completed, and we're going to complete it and do other things and then make it suitable for a school and all that. But we didn't even complete the building. You understand? So, we wouldn't have spent about 30 million, 20 million, but for publicity's sake, at first he was claiming it was 100 million, and now I don't know where 480 million is coming from.
Is it perhaps that it was paid in dollars and so using the exchange rate?
No,
No,
it
okay.
wasn't. It wasn't.
So the school thing. So he says that you took his school. Let's take the allegations one after
Okay,
the other.
okay.
He says you took the school from him. Is that true?
I left in the middle of the term.
Right.
I left in October. The school ran till full term,
Okay.
and they were dispersed. I don't know. I was not in the picture.
So you don't know what happened to
I
this
don't
school?
know what happened. I only found out that he didn't resume the school in January, and he had moved with the children to Abuja.
Right.
So I never knew.
Anything about this school?
Yeah, I don't know.
Then he says that he went to the UK, to the US with a luggage, and by the time he came, you had swept everything clean from him.
Okay. So at that time, we didn't have money.
Okay.
The landlord had kicked us out of the house. The time we were given had come to an end. So we decided to move some things to the school compound because we still had space, we were still building, it was not filled with children and all that, so we had space. So I moved some things into the school compound, and I was living with his mom. I was sleeping on the floor with my kids in his mom's small apartment. You understand? So I'll come from Isolo to Magodo every day to run the school. So that's where the move is coming from. You understand? But at that time, I had planned to leave.
Okay.
So he traveled, but he was within Nigeria. He traveled too.
Okay.
So when I was moving, I selected my things and kept them aside with my 2 younger children.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So when he landed and he called me to tell me he had landed, and I said, I've moved out. And he said, is that what you want? I said, yes. He said, let's keep it quiet. I don't want anything in the media. I don't want to know anything. And I said, okay, no problem. And I've been keeping quiet for 10 years. He has been the one doing all the talking right now.
Yeah. He says that you assaulted his mother.
Yes.
Is that true?
No.
What happened?
That's quite the opposite.
Okay.
So after everything, had told me that Emeka was the one propelling the beating part, that she never told anybody ever beat her.
So Emeka's mother said she never told
She
anybody.
said she never said anybody beat her, that he, my husband, was the one that was propelling it, that she was beaten up.
What you're describing is a deeply toxic
Yes.
situation.
This is what I lived. This is what I lived 14 years of my life.